Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. 𝙃𝙤𝙀𝙙𝙖 أخواتي الكريم. This is a very serious issue which many Muslims have taken lightly today in the so-called modern world. Subhanallah. Like it or hate it, I'm going to say قال الله وقال الرسول من أقوال السلف. You take it or leave it, it's up to you. I'm going to speak the haqq. I don't care, I'm not going to sugarcoat Islam for any of you. Islam is Islam. Alhamdulillah. عن سالم بن عبد الله عن أبيه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثلاثة لا ينظر الله عز وجل إليهم يوم القيامة. Three people, Allah will not look at them on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Number one, العاق لوالديه, the one who disobeys his parents. Number two, المرأة المترجلة, the women who imitate men, and could be vice versa. And number three, الديوث. And subhanallah, this needs explanation. The ulama have given lots of explanation of who is the youth. Subhanallah. Please stay tuned, and in a short video to explain this whole issue is very difficult. Please stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum. And a dayuth is a man who has no ghayra, who has no protective jealousy over his womenfolk, his mother, his wife, his daughter, his sister. Subhanallah. Ya ikhwan, who post selfies and vlogs with your wives on social media. Ittaqillah ya ikhwan. Where'd you get this from? Would the Salaf ever do this? Today, if the Salaf were alive, the Sahaba were alive, would they ever do this? Take this simple analogy. You're walking down the street with your wife, and there are random strangers, 2 or 3 strangers saying, MashaAllah, what a beautiful couple, sweet couple. I wish I had a wife like yours, blah blah blah. What would you do as a Muslim? Wouldn't you feel anger? Wouldn't you feel angry, the anger of ghayra? Wouldn't it sprout from your heart? Subhanallah. Wouldn't you say, brother, shut up and fear Allah, it's none of your business. No one asked for your compliments. It's haram to compliment. It's haram to say MashaAllah to a non-mahram. What are you doing? Allah said, whenever you look at a woman, lower your gaze. And these guys are saying MashaAllah on non-mahram speaks. Now cut and paste that whole situation on social media. Wallahi al-azim. Wallahi al-azim. It is worse on social media. So as I was saying, just cut and paste that real life public situation onto social media. Wallahi al-azim ya ikhwan, it's worse. A random stranger on the street, 3 or 4 strangers complimenting your wife, you wouldn't tolerate. You would tell him to shut up, right? You have that ghayra. Mind your own business. Don't you dare compliment my wife. What are you doing? Lower your gaze. Ittaqillah ikhwan. Cut and paste that whole situation onto social media. What comes? Thousands, hundreds and thousands, and perhaps millions of followers, millions of non-mahrams commenting, MashaAllah, cute couple, sweet couple, I wish I had a wife like yours, what a beautiful couple, blah blah blah. Complimenting your wife on social media, and you have and you're okay with that. You're okay with غير محارم, shameless, hormone raging غير محرم, non-mahrams complimenting your wife, commenting MashaAllah, blah blah compliments on your wife's pics and selfies, and you have no ghayra anymore. This is worse than public situation. This is worse because there are thousands of people like that. Subhanallah ya ikhwan, ittaqillah. And I was saying ittaqillah ikhwan, if the Salaf, the Sahaba were alive today, wallahi, they would not do this. They would keep their womenfolk as much as covered as possible, as much as away from the public as possible. Do your da'wah ila Allah, do your da'wah ila tawheed, invite people to Islam, alhamdulillah. Why do you bring your wife into the da'wah scene? Why do you bring your wife? Why do you bring your daughter or sister or mother into the da'wah, into the camera? Keep them away from the camera, ya akhwan. Keep them away from the camera. What are you trying to gain by bringing your wife into it? Your wife is awra. Your mother is awra. Your sister, your daughter, they're awra. They should be kept secret. They should be kept covered and protected in your homes, ya akhwan. I'm not telling you tie them to the stove. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying keep them away from public when you can. Now you're posting them on social media and you think this is something okay. Ittaqillah. Yawm al-Qiyamah, do you want to be resurrected with the youth? No, you don't. Ittaqillah ya akhwan. Stop normalizing this haram selfie vlogs trend with your wives. Subhanallah. And also needless to say that there is the evil eye on social media. Many ulama have warned against this. Stop posting your wife's pics and selfies and all this vlogs and all this nonsense. There is evil eye on social media. There are eyes of jealousy. There are eyes that can harm you, subhanallah, in ways that only Allah knows best. With the permission of Allah, it's so dangerous that evil eye can harm you through jealousy and many other means. What are you trying to gain by letting your wife come into the scene, doing da'wah with you, co-da'wah? This is bid'ah, ya ikhwan, I'll prove to you. This is bid'ah. Why? As I was explaining, this is bid'ah. Why? Bringing your wife into the da'wah scene, doing da'wah with you, you were saying something in Arabic from the Quran, then your wife makes the tarjuma and all this kind of stuff. This is bid'ah, ya ikhwan. And bid'ah is worse than the major sins. You know this. This is basic knowledge. Why? The Salaf, give me one dalil from the Salaf, give me one dalil from the Sahaba where they ever appointed a female khatiba, where they ever appointed any of the Ummhatul Mu'mineen, any of the righteous Sahabiyat, to give khutbahs on sermons, to give khutbahs on pulpits, on Friday sermons and whatnot. Subhanallah, to give, or any general public lecture. Give me one dalil from the Sunnah, where they ever appointed a female lecturer, lecturing mixed audience, mixed gender, watching you. So as I was clearly saying, that this is clear-cut bid'ah, doing so-called co-da'wah with your wife, reading some Quran, some ahadith, and your wife makes the tarjuma. Anyone, it's general advice. I know some couples do that, and I'm not hiding like a coward. I'm openly saying this. There are some couples, and they blocked me already from Instagram. They blocked me because I tagged them in the posts warning against, the youth and not having ghairah for your women and whatnot. Why is it bid'ah again? The Salaf never did this. The Salaf never called this deen, coming on to publicly and then giving da'wah publicly with your wife. Subhanallah, where'd you get this from? What was not deen back then can never be deen now. Islam came as something strange and will leave as something strange, and glad tidings al-bushra lil-ghuraba, glad tidings to the strangers. Alhamdulillah. We don't need your so-called westernized version of Islam. There is no such thing in Islam. There is no such thing as a westernized, liberal or moderate Islam. Allah sent down, Allah revealed only one Islam, and that's the Islam of the Quran and the Sunnah and the ijma of the Salaf. Full stop. And anyone who says that this is the 21st century, we need, reformation, this is, subhanallah, this could be on the verge of kufr. How dare you say that Islam needs reformation? Subhanallah, the Quran and the Sunnah. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. Allah has completed His favor of Islam upon you. Nothing new can be added or subtracted from Islam. Islam is Islam. Allah never revealed two Islam, one version for UK, another version for Saudi Arabia. No, subhanallah, the same Islam that Allah revealed, it should be practiced as it is all over the world. Whatever is haram in Saudi Arabia is haram everywhere else. Subhanallah. And stop listening to these deviant scholars like 𝙄𝙣𝙨𝙪𝙩𝙞𝙣 Khan and so many different deviant scholars there who say, going back to the understanding of the Salaf is a backwardness indirectly. It's a good slogan, he said this. He was mocking the Salaf indirectly, 𝙄𝙣𝙨 and all these kinds of scholars. Never listen to those scholars who take you away from the kibar al-ulama, from the real scholars of Islam. Be careful.